Have you ever wondered what the Greek gods did when no one was watching? Not the battles, not the betrayals, not the thunderbolts, but the quiet moments, the boring moments, the moments they spent just waiting. What if I told you that Zeus spent most of his time not ruling the sky, but trying to find a comfortable cloud to nap on? What if Hades, the god of the underworld, preferred paperwork over punishment? And what if the most powerful being on Olympus wasn't a warrior at all, but a goddess who simply tended a fire and never said a word? Tonight, you're not here for excitement. You're here to let go, to slow down, to finally rest. So before you close your eyes, take 1 second to subscribe to Little Historical. Just a tiny tap. You can do it with your eyes half closed. And if this voice helps you drift off, a like is a quiet way of saying thank you. Now, dim your screen, pull up your blanket, and let me tell you the most boring, most beautiful, most sleep-inducing version of the Greek gods you've ever heard. Before anything else existed, before the first breath of the first god, before even the whisper of a name, there was only chaos. Not the kind of chaos you know, not shouting or breaking or running. No, this was a different kind of emptiness. A vast, dark, velvet silence so complete that it felt almost like a held breath. And in that silence, something began to stir. Not with sound, not with light, but with a feeling so faint, so slow, that it took centuries to become anything at all. That feeling was Gaia, the earth. She didn't arrive in a flash of glory. She simply opened her eyes one moment and realized she was there. And she was tired. Deeply, impossibly tired. The kind of tired that comes before any work has been done. She lay in the dark, and she waited. And while she waited, she felt something else. A presence beside her. Uranus. The sky. He was vast and cold and stretched above her like a blanket that never quite touched. And in that first, ancient darkness, they did nothing dramatic. No lightning. No vows. No battles. They simply existed together, pressed against each other in the quiet, in the way two bodies might share a bed without speaking, without moving, just breathing the same slow breath. It was intimate in a way that no story ever tells you. The first relationship was not passion. It was exhaustion. It was two vast beings lying side by side in the endless night, too tired to fight, too tired to love, too tired to even dream. And from that stillness, from that strange, wordless closeness, children came. Not with screams. Not with pain. But like fog rising from a lake. Slowly. Silently. The Titans. The first gods. And even they did not shout. They simply appeared, one by one, and lay down beside their parents, because there was nowhere else to go. There was no world yet. No sun. No moon. No mortals watching. Just this family of enormous, sleepy beings, curled in the dark, doing absolutely nothing for eons. And somewhere in that deep, quiet intimacy, something else grew. A secret. A tension. Because even in silence, even in stillness, power shifts. And the youngest of them, a titan named Cronus, began to feel something uncomfortable. Not anger. Not ambition. Just a restless awareness that his father's weight above him was becoming heavy. And that is where our real story begins. Not with a war. Not with a scream. But with a son who could no longer pretend to be asleep. So now, let that image settle in your mind. The dark, the silence, the slow breathing of gods who have not yet learned to speak, and then, very gently, let's turn our attention to the king who would eventually rule them all. The one who yawned on Olympus. Zeus. And so we come to Zeus. The king. The sky father. The one who throws thunderbolts and chases mortals through fields in forms that should not be spoken of lightly. But tonight, we are not here for that Zeus. Tonight, we meet him differently. Imagine this. After the long, silent war against his father Cronus, after the slicing and the freeing of his siblings, Zeus climbed to the highest peak of Olympus and sat down. He did not cheer. He did not raise a fist to the heavens. He simply sat a day. And he realized something terrible. He was now responsible for everything. The weather. The laws. The fights between gods. the whispered prayers of millions of mortals who never stopped needing something. And in that moment, the great Zeus, the thunderer, the king of all kings, felt a yawn rise from somewhere deep inside him. Not a dramatic yawn. A quiet, exhausted one. The kind that comes after a very long night when you know the day will be even longer. He leaned back against his stone throne, and he closed his eyes. Just for a moment, he told himself. Just to rest. But the moment stretched. The clouds above him parted and reformed. The hours passed. And Zeus did not move. You see, power is not always exciting. Sometimes it is just a very heavy blanket pressing down on your chest. And Zeus, for all his divine strength, was terribly, terribly alone up there. His wife Hera was already watching him from across the hall, her eyes sharp, her arms crossed, waiting for him to make the first mistake. His brothers Poseidon and Hades had taken their own realms and disappeared into them. And the mortals below, they never stopped. They married. They died. They begged. They betrayed. And every single one of them expected Zeus to care. But caring takes energy. And energy, even for a god, runs out. So Zeus Saturday. And he yawned again. And he thought about what it would feel like to simply stop. To let the thunderbolts rust. To let the mortals figure out justice on their own. To let Hera win whatever argument she was already planning. That thought, that quiet, forbidden wish to just disappear into a cloud and never be found, that was the most human thing about him. And maybe, just maybe, that is why mortals kept praying. Because deep down, they sensed that their king was just as tired as they were. But a king cannot sleep forever. And soon, something, or someone, would demand his attention again. But that is a story for another quiet moment. For now, let Zeus rest on his cloud, his breathing slow, his eyes half closed. And while he dreams of nothing at all, let us drift downward. Away from the sky. Past the earth. Into a darker, quieter place. The place where the other brother waits. Hades. And so we descend. Down through the cracks in the earth, past the roots of ancient trees, past the bones of creatures who forgot to pray. The air grows heavier here. Not with heat or smoke, but with something older. Something that smells like dust and memory and the faint, sweet perfume of flowers that bloom only in darkness. This is the realm of Hades. And the first thing you notice is the quiet. Not the peaceful quiet of a bedroom at midnight. No. This is the quiet of a library where no one has spoken for 1,000 years. The quiet of a ledger book whose pages never stop filling. And at the center of it all, sitting on a throne carved from shadow and stone, is the god himself. Hades. He does not look up when you arrive. He is reading. Or rather, he is writing. His hand moves slowly across a scroll so long it spills down the steps of his dais and coils across the floor like a sleeping serpent. Names. Thousands of names. Millions of names. Every mortal who has ever drawn a breath and then stopped. He writes them all. Not because he enjoys it, but because no one else will. You see, Hades never wanted this job. When the three brothers drew lots for the kingdoms of the world, Zeus got the sky, Poseidon got the sea, and Hades got whatever was left. Whatever no one else wanted. The underworld. A place of echoes and endings. A place where even the gods do not linger. But Hades did not complain. He simply picked up his quill and began. And he has not stopped since. There is something strangely intimate about this place. The way the darkness wraps around you like a second skin. The way the silence makes you aware of your own heartbeat. Hades sits alone, but he is not lonely. He has his dog, Cerberus, curled at his feet, 3 heads stacked on 3 paws, snoring softly. And he has his work. The endless, soothing, repetitive work of sorting souls. He does not torture. He does not rage. He simply organizes. And sometimes, late in the eternal night, he pauses. He sets down his quill. He looks out across the grey fields of asphodel where the ordinary dead wander like sleepwalkers. And he thinks about her. The one he took. The one who spends half the year beside him. Persephone. But that is a story of hunger and pomegranates and a bargain struck in the dark. And we are not ready for that story yet. For now, let us simply watch Hades work. His quill scratches softly. His breathing is slow and even. And somewhere above, in the world of light, a goddess tends a flame that never goes out. Let us rise now. Back through the earth. Back toward warmth. Back toward the one who holds everything together without ever asking for thanks. Hestia. And so we rise. Up through the soil, past the roots, past the bones, past the grey fields where the dead wander without purpose. The air warms. The darkness thins. And suddenly, there is light. Not the blinding light of Zeus's thunderbolts. Not the cold light of Artemis's moon. This is a different light entirely. Soft. Orange. Flickering. The light of a fire that has been burning for centuries in a hearth that no one remembers building. And sitting beside that fire, alone in a quiet room, is Hestia. She does not speak. She does not move. She simply tends the flame. Gently. Lovingly. As if the fire were a child she had been rocking to sleep for 10,000 years. Most gods have stories. Grand, dramatic, scandalous stories. Affairs. Wars. Revenge. But Hestia has no stories. And that is precisely what makes her dangerous. You see, when a god has no myths, no temples, no worshippers fighting for her attention, she becomes invisible. And the invisible ones, the quiet ones, the ones who never demand anything, they are the ones who see everything. Hestia was there when Zeus swallowed his first wife. She was there when Hera plotted her 1000th revenge. She was there when Poseidon flooded a city because a mortal looked at him wrong. And she said nothing. She simply added another log to the fire and watched the shadows dance on the walls. There is something deeply intimate about that fire. It is the same flame that burns in every home, in every temple, in every lonely room where someone sits awake at midnight, unable to sleep. Hestia is not in the grand palaces of Olympus. She is in the kitchen where a mother warms milk for her child. She is in the campfire where lovers whisper secrets they will never repeat. She is in the candle beside your bed right now, the one you lit to read by, the one you forgot to blow out. And here is the secret that no myth will tell you. Hestia gave up her throne on Olympus. Not because she was weak, but because she knew that power does not come from sitting high. It comes from being needed in a way that no one notices until you are gone. She let Dionysus take her place among the 12. And the other gods barely blinked. But when the hearth fire goes out, the home dies. When the temple flame dies, the god inside grows cold. Hestia holds Olympus together not with force, but with warmth. Not with lightning, but with patience. And every night, when you curl up in your bed and pull the blanket to your chin, you are lying in her temple. The most sacred one of all. So let us stay here for a moment. In the warmth. In the silence. In the flickering light that asks nothing of you except to rest. And when you are ready, when your eyes have closed and your breathing has slowed, we will let the fire fade. Not out. Just down to embers. Just enough to last until morning. Good night.